Hey, what's up y'all guys? MC Josiah here, back for another vlog video. Now, in the last video, I mainly just introduced y'all guys to my new channel. I gave a little brief description on who I was, and I left links for my other channels as well. Well, I feel like I need to create another vlog video that goes into more detail on exactly who I am. You know what I mean? On top of that, I kind of want to create this video as a little introductory into a kind of small series of videos I'll be creating in the future about this topic. So here goes. Like I said in the last video, I'm a young hip-hop artist and audio engineer, and I will add computer geek by the name of MC Josiah. I was born in Houston, Texas in October of 1997, and I spent the first 10 years of my life in Huntsville, Texas. Then at age 10, I moved back to Houston, Texas, and was there till the age of 16, and it was in Houston that I started busting my first freestyles, I started rapping, and I started making my first beats. Then at age 16, about to go on to 17, I moved up to Abilene, Texas, and I've pretty much been here with my family since then for the last almost 3 years now. Other than I did spend 4 months in Houston a few months ago, but the living arrangements didn't necessarily work out, so I had to come back up here. So here I am now in Abilene, Texas, just chilling like a villain pretty much. Now I want to move on into a different topic. I mean, it's still a topic based about me, but it's kind of something I want to explain to y'all guys what I have. I want to go into detail about a condition that I have that I was diagnosed with at the age of 10 called Asperger Syndrome. From the best of my knowledge, Asperger Syndrome is a high-functioning form of autism, which means it's autism, but it's high-functioning. And virtually, I was diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome at the age of 10. Like I said before, sorry if I just kind of repeated myself. But I was diagnosed with Asperger Syndrome at the age of 10, and basically what it is it's a neurological condition that affects my empathetic and social skill-based reasoning. It doesn't mean that I don't have no feelings or I'm a robot and stuff, but it means that my ability to process and reason empathy and empathetic reasoning is numb and low compared to other people, while my SQ, my ability to reason systematic information like systems, mechanics, logical reason-based data is above average, like really above average compared to most men in our society. I'm not claiming I'm smart or anything, I'm just saying what it is based off the best of my knowledge. Me being an Aspie myself, for the first 10 years of my life, my parents or school really had no idea that I had Asperger Syndrome. During that time, they just thought I had ADHD, and I would behave pretty bad in school and stuff. Like, I would have outbursts, meltdowns, I would always have to be thrown out of class, ISS, detention, just different things. After my family moved to Houston in the spring of 2008, my dad worked on getting me into Texas Children's Hospital to get me tested. And when I went to Texas Children's Hospital, they confirmed that I had Asperger Syndrome. Now, after that, the drama didn't stop there, because for the first half of my 4th grade year, instead of putting me in a class that I needed, they kept me in regular special ed classes and put me on a bunch of psychotropic medicines. Like, I was put on up to 50 milligrams of Adderall, and I was only 60 pounds at the time and probably 4'1", a little 10, 11-year-old boy. So I was put on like 50 milligrams of Adderall plus extra antidepressants and eating pills to help counteract the negative side effects of the Adderall. But that stuff didn't really help me at all. I was still not eating at lunch. I was still looking like a zombie every time I came home. But all in all, for the first half of 4th grade, I was put on 50 milligrams of Adderall. 50 milligrams plus other medicines. And after looking like a freaking zombie, Dad worked to get me in a class called AIM. AIM was a class for kids with Asperger Syndrome like me. You know what I mean? Kids like me with the condition that I had. Starting from my second half of 4th grade, I got put on AIM, and from there I slowly got taken off of medicine. As a matter of fact, by the time I started 5th grade, I was no longer taking any form of psychotropic drugs whatsoever, completely medicine free. And since then, I've worked to improve myself and build myself more. You know, I've worked to drastically improve my social skills, drastically improve my ability to process social and psychological based data around me. Now, I'm not saying that I've completely overcome every single thing that I have to deal with my Asperger's, but I've overcome a whole lot. Like, even to this day, I still struggle with some forms of sarcasm, pragmatic language, figurative language, body language. As you can tell in this video, I'm kind of repeating myself a lot as well, which kind of points out my Asperger Syndrome. That kind of points out that I have it. I've drastically improved in my social abilities and reasoning since I was a kid. And I mean drastically. If you were to go back and meet 10 or 11-year-old me and you tried cracking a sarcastic joke with him, he would not understand that joke one bit. And I mean literally one bit he wouldn't. You know what I mean? When I was 10 or 11 years old, I had literally hardly any to no understanding of sarcastic or figurative language, which is one of the things that contributed to a lot of my meltdowns and outbursts I had when I was a child. Like I said, I've overcome a lot of things growing up and stuff, and I've overcome a lot of the obstacles and things put in front of me because of my condition. But another thing I would like to say about autistic people or people with Asperger's like me is that we all seem to have fixations. You know what I mean? We all get fixated on something, and when we get fixated on something, we get really good at it really, really fast. Like, as a kid, I used to get fixated on weather and stuff. Like, when I was 10, 11, 12 years old, I used to dream of being a meteorologist. Like, one of my passions in life when I was 10, 11, 12 years old was to be like Jim Cantori off the Weather Channel. And I can show y'all. Let me show y'all a video real quick of me from when I was like 10 or 11 years old.
We're rushing for the prepare of Hurricane Casey as it moves in. It is a Category 5 hurricane off the coast of Galveston with winds of 180 miles an hour. We are only a day away from seeing landfall. Tomorrow at noon, we're expected to see a daytime landfall hurricane. As mentioned 3 weeks ago when Ike hit, we had a nighttime landfall hurricane, but this time we'll have a daytime hurricane. And this should cause a whole lot more damage than Ike did, because it has winds of 180 miles an hour. We're expecting it to have 200-mile-per-hour winds by landfall. Right now, it's breezy here in Galveston. I am on a dock in a yarding where you can see. If you look over there, you can see how damaged the tree is. Over here, the tree is still damaged and actually shaking around. It is shaking around like crazy. The wind, it isn't so windy on the ground, but the wind's about a foot above me, or around 50 miles an hour right now.
See what I mean right there? I was fixated on weather. Weather was one of my big fixations, and as I've gone through my life, I've had many different fixations. Like, I was fixated on dinosaurs, monster trucks, demolition. I was fixated on computers, and even now I'm still kind of fixated on computers. I'm still a computer geek now. You know what I mean? Fixated on different things. One of the biggest fixations that I've ever had, and I still kind of have a fixation to it today, is music, especially hip-hop music. When I was 12 years old, I got introduced to Fort Minor by my cousin Ryan, and starting with Fort Minor, I slowly started to move away from being a rocker off into being a hip-hop head. And starting with Eminem at the end of the summer of 2010, I just literally started to fall in love with hip-hop. Like, literally became a big fixation. And starting with Eminem, I started busting my first freestyles. Like, literally towards the end of the summer of 2010, into the fall, I was taking these long walks around the neighborhoods, and with these long walks I would be going around busting my first freestyles. I'd be putting on Eminem songs, Sing for the Moment, and busting freestyles to them and stuff, you know. And I became fixated, especially on Eminem, and I started studying everything there was to know about Eminem and all of his influences, and from there I just started falling much more in love with hip hop and started branching off into other artists, you know. And I really started to develop my own early artist identity. You know what I mean? I went from being an Eminem wannabe to wanting to be a really awesome rapper of my own. Like, by the time I was 14, I was dressing in all black gothic. I was constantly fixated on different hip hop artists, studying different artists' flow styles, trying to mimic them while looking for elements of their styles to add to my own, or practicing my own style to their music. I was fixated on it, you know, and even to this day I'm still kind of fixated on hip hop, though not as much. But hip hop became one of my big fixations, and I became really good at it really fast. Like, by the time I was 14 going on 15, I was able to hold a consistent flow. And within like 6 or 7 months after I turned 15, I was able to consistently chop really fast, like consistently for more than like 8 bars or so. To this day, I'm still doing hip hop music, you know. I still do music in general, you know what I mean? But I still do hip hop, you know. I'm still kind of fixated on it now as an Aspie. A few more things I do want to say about my condition before I get ready to end this video is some of the struggles I've had to overcome throughout my childhood, teenhood, and some of the challenges I face now as a young adult. As a child, my obstacles are really there, you know what I mean? Like, I had hardly any friends whatsoever, you know. I didn't, like, most of the time on the playground, I played by myself, or I'd have like 1 or 2 friends, and that was it. And I was just literally off in my own world all the time. Like, literally, in class, I would have meltdowns, outbursts, just different things, etc., etc. Now, my challenges as a teenager begin to change. As a teenager, my social skills started to get much better. I mean, as an Aspie, I still had pretty bad social skills, but they got much better. But yet, I still had challenges there. Middle school, I was generally still an outcast, still a loner. I pretty much just sat by myself, either on a bench or at the lunch table, writing my rhymes, writing my songs. A lot of times in the hallways, like in middle school and high school, I would be walking by myself, just freestyling to music that I had on my phone. Like in 8th grade, I'd be walking the hallways freestyling to like Sugar Hill Gang or Grandmaster Flash. In 7th grade, I'd be freestyling to like Bone Thugs and Harmony, Young MC, just different things, you know what I mean? In 6th grade, I'd be practicing my freestyling to like Eminem, NWA, Chameleon, or people like that, you know what I mean? In high school, at lunch, I would just sit by myself at the table writing my rhymes, you know what I mean? I was just always an antisocial guy, you know what I mean? In high school, I did become a little bit more social, though, as well as later middle school. Like when I was in 9th grade, specifically in theater arts, I was pretty good at making friends there. Like I had a couple friends that I would talk to, and we'd work together on various projects and stuff. In 8th grade, I made a good amount of friends as well, especially when I had to go to a different middle school for various circumstances that happened to me that I'll talk about in a future vlog video. But just, that's when I really started to make more friends and stuff, you know. I was able to socialize a little better, grasp social things a little better, and because of that, I was able to really make more friends, you know what I mean? So socially, I was kind of flourishing like a butterfly, but still kind of an antisocial outcast. But all in all, you know what I mean? I guess this is a little good video for me to better describe myself. I'll be doing more videos on myself in the future, and I'll be doing more videos on Asperger Syndrome as well. Well, I think this wraps it up for this video right here. If you like this video, leave a like. If you dislike, leave a dislike. Leave a comment if you want, and subscribe for more if you want. Also, even though I kind of did this in my last video, if you're interested in checking out my music, I'll leave a link in the description below to my main music channel. And if you're interested in checking out any of my instrumentals, I'll leave a link to my second instrumental channel in the description below as well. Well, I hope y'all guys have a good day, and I hope y'all guys have enjoyed this video. Peace, y'all.